Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the final day of Dungeons & Dragons Week here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are looking at Bobby the Barbarian and Uni, the little animal friend that was so omnipresent in all of the 1980s cartoons. I've already talked about the packaging here. I really like the retro, the mock blister card look of this, if you will. I think Hasbro did a really nice job of making this look unique. They didn't quite get the hole punched in the right place. It should be just a little further over that way, but because they hang all cockeyed in the store. But looks cool. Got the cross sell on the back, got the accessories up here, and of course Bobby the Barbarian is a smaller figure, so they could throw in that Uni Slug, which, if you don't know, Slug is, which it may not be, it looks like the head might be articulated, but Slug is kind of the general term for a one-piece action figure, which probably is not fair to apply to Uni, because like I said, I think that head might be on a ball joint, but this made sense money-wise. All right. Go back and watch my reviews of the other figures in the line, Venger and Dungeon Master, Diana and Hank. This is a dream come true for me as somebody who grew up with this cartoon and was a huge fan of it, and was always disappointed that we never got, we had Dungeons and Dragons figures, but they weren't based on the cartoon. So this really is big time wish fulfillment for me. I love that we've got these now, and Hasbro's doing them, and the Dungeons and Dragons is in a place where something like this is even possible. It's crazy to me that these are at regular retail, and that they aren't like Pulse exclusive or something. So good on Hasbro for getting it done. Oh man, look at that! Look at that! Okay, so we've got our die, which was this 12-sided die, I think. These all, since this is the last day, let's throw them all up here. All of the die match. They're all that red and black sort of marbled look. So you've got this. Is this a full set? I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you could play a game of Dungeons and Dragons with just these die. We know there are, 3 more characters coming, at least. So there's 3 more die on the way that presumably will match those. I am going to now heat this little guy up a little bit, because we know from reviewers the likes of Pixel Dan that some of these figures have been very, very fragile. So let's put a little heat on Bobby the Barbarian. You guys know I don't usually do that in my reviews, but you know, when I know ahead of time that there's some issues with a line, I'm gonna do what I can to not intentionally break the figures as I review them. Although figures have certainly been broken during my reviews before. Look at the portrait on this little guy. Look at his little freckles, his little sneer. Full disclosure, Bobby and Uni absolutely annoyed me to death when I was a kid. I did not like these characters because they felt to me, now granted, all of the kids in this show were kids, but this felt like every annoying little kid add-in character that you had in every show. Now, I've grown to appreciate that sort of thing and kind of get what the creators were going for at the time. You know, this is the kid that could potentially be you or whatever. But why you gotta always make that kid annoying, 80s cartoon creators? But then the other side of the spectrum is, if the kid isn't annoying, well, then they're poochy. So he is, obviously, this is a very tiny figure. I'm being very, very careful with these delicate little joints, which is a funny thing to say about a barbarian, but what are you going to do? If you'll notice, his right hand, which is for holding the club, has an up and down joint, and then his left hand has the side-to-side joint. Or I guess right moves like that, left moves like that. I still don't have a really clear idea of actually how to describe that. I'm sure there's a technical term in the toy industry for that. He's got his sort of belt harness deal with the studs painted on immaculately. I said it during the Hank review. This is, in my opinion, some Super 7 quality work, and I mean that in a good way. I am a guy who likes Super 7 a lot and has a lot of respect for how they capture the looks of cartoons and 3D figures. This is some great stuff here. He's got his little loincloth. No swivels on the thighs of these figures, which was an interesting decision. But double jointed knees, which is the one thing Super 7 probably would not have done. All of these joints are snug. I highly recommend if you get these figures, you heat them up like I did. And I don't know that we've got a boot top. Okay, yeah, there is a boot top swivel. Left one wants to move, right one kind of doesn't. So I'm going to give that some more heat at some point. But he does have, look at these great little barbarian boots. And then his big flat feet. They almost look like Calvin shoes from Calvin and Hobbes, which I think have been described as dinner rolls. I don't remember if it was Charles Schultz or Burke Breathed that described them that way, but it's apt. He looks great. He's awesome. He's a little barbarian. Look at that helmet. Aside from the maybe cheaper than they need to be materials that were used in some of these figures, these look like very high quality, immaculately designed toys. So he is just under 5 inches tall, and I guess this is the last day. We'll line them all up. Well, let's take a look at Uni first, and then I'll line everybody up. So Uni, just the head moves. I would have liked a fully articulated Uni. I'm not going to lie. It would have been nice to have. I get why they didn't do that, because this line is potentially going to be very limited. Maybe further in, if it's a success, if people buy these, maybe we do get a fully articulated Uni. But, if the choice was between getting one like this at first and not getting it at all, I mean, you can't not have the little unicorn companion. You got to have it. So, let's get it out there as this 1 point of articulation figure, not quite a slug, and we'll be happy. But the coloring looks great. Everything in this whole line so far matches up the character models so nicely. You've got the little hooves. You can see the sculpting for the hair, the fur, or whatever around the top of the hooves. The horn has a little spiral on it. Those lavender eyes look great. All the deco is just perfectly placed. Looks awesome. So let's put all of these together and take a look at our height difference. Oh, and before, Bobby's Club. Just a big, awesome chunk of barbarian weaponry. And his hand is soft enough that it slides in very nicely. And I will be very curious to see how long he can stand on the shelf like that. Now, I will probably take that and try and put it up on his shoulder or something. Something along those lines, which should be a little easier to maintain that pose on the shelf. We'll see. But looks great, and I like how firm this is. Yeah, it's still that soft plastic that Hasbro likes to use, but it feels good. It feels nice. It doesn't feel cheap. So there we go. Okay, now let's compare all of these figures. Let's do the lineup, and we can see the size differences and how well Hasbro has executed a line that, at the end of the day has to stand on the shelf together. And that's one thing that in a lot of toy lines has always kind of stuck in my craw a little bit is, you gotta, like with wrestling lines, older wrestling lines back in the day, they didn't worry about scale at all, and it drove me crazy because you cannot have Rey Mysterio be the same height as Brock Lesnar. It's just dumb. And you can't have John Morrison having the same body type as, I don't know, Trevor Murdoch. I don't think they ever did that, but you know what I'm saying. So look at this. Look at this line all together. Know that the next 3 figures are on the way. This is fantastic. These colors look great. They all just look great together. This is magical to me. This is a dream come true to have, you know, another cartoon that was such a huge deal in my childhood and was such an impact on my creativity and my love of storytelling. And now I've got it represented in 3D thanks to Hasbro. If you get these, be careful with them. Do what I did. Heat them up 30 seconds with the hairdryer on high. Kind of gives you what you need. But just, I think once they've been heated up, you're good to go. Because this is, I believe this hand is the one that broke on Pixel Dan and some other reviewers. And now it's fine. I'm turning it around. Everything's good. It doesn't have a very good range of motion here, but that's more the design of the sleeve. So I think once you've heated them up and very carefully loosened everything up, you're good to go. So there it is. As of right now, the full animated Dungeons and Dragons line from Hasbro. I love it. I am right now going to stop this video and go put these on the shelf, probably with this gorgeous backdrop that came with Venger and Dungeon Master right behind them. And I don't do a lot of that kind of thing, but this is a nice high quality print. Good thick cardboard. It's going to look good behind them. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things, and just keep coming back for more toy reviews. They're going to keep coming.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.